Good morning. It's MTK on the MIC on Thursday, December 21st, the darkest day of the year. The solstice, that's right, the shortest daytime here in the northern hemisphere. And all of the cultures have their celebrations to praise a sky god that take place in the winter. Oh, please, sky god, protect us. We are afraid, for the night is dark and long. But on the other side of the planet, on the 21st of December, say in Argentina, it's the summer solstice. So, half the planet, if not in numbers, for them, this is an imposition, isn't it? The entirety of the Western world. 4 seasons, Vivaldi, everything what we consider to be a hierarchical structure of culture is really a narrow band from Europe. And it's their fears that they've projected upon the world. And we don't share them. I've never shared them. Neither did my parents, who freed themselves from the yoke of British occupation in India. Our family understood they were there and learned how to behave the way the British wished, but did not allow it to infect us, and we remained a Tamil in nature. This happened all over India. And in fact, it happens all over the world. The problem is the colonial era powers and their cultures and the forced exportation of their beliefs upon the world. That's the issue. And on this, the darkest day of the year, I want to remind you of that. It's the longest day of the year somewhere else. And it's hot in some places and cold in others and windy in others and dry in others and wet. Everybody where they are is experiencing their thing, and for them, that's how it is all the time. When I went to Amsterdam last year around this time, I was so shocked to wake up and be walking down to the coffee shop, and it was around 10:30, and my shadow was something like 13 feet long, 15 feet long, and I'm like, what is happening right now? And then I realized, I'm at 51 degrees latitude. I'm so far north in the tilt of the Earth, the obliquity of the ecliptic. The 23 degrees means that this place gets this sort of tilted disk of sunlight for about 6 hours. That's it, 10 a.m. to 4, and it comes at an angle. And then I thought to myself, how weird, how crazy, and I shot a bunch of footage. You can see it if you go to the Herbst in Amsterdam playlist. But then I realized this is normal for them. If you are a 4th generation, 5th generation, 10th generation, 30th generation person from Amsterdam or Copenhagen or London or any of those cities up there, Scotland, Glasgow, right? It's normal. The light for you, that's normal. So if you perceive of the world that way and of 4 seasons that way, and then you go around the world spreading your culture, and other people look at you like, what are you talking about? It's not because they're heathens. It's because it makes no sense where they are. To go to a person in the tropics and say, well, it's December 21st, get ready, your shadow's going to be 15 feet long, and the sun will only be in the sky for 6 hours, is a moronic suggestion. So, music you make that applies to that, it's fine. Yes, music has universal appeal. No one's trying to deny that, but I'm talking about the underlying culture, on the darkest day of the year where I am. The sun has just come up, and there will be maybe, we'll see how many hours there are. And the other point I wanted to touch on is that there are almost 400 subscribers now to this channel, which is kind of amazing. So in my recent travels to Asia and elsewhere, more people have been joining and subscribing. Thank you and welcome. I know I'm kind of a weird guy. I'm not really trying to make a channel for money or popularity. I'm trying to just be me and use the channel as a sort of art space and a writing space and a critical space and a thinking space. So if sometimes something you see here is strange or seems unusual to you or even offensive, which certainly some of the atheism I have noticed can offend some people, I hope you'll understand it's because it has to exist on YouTube alongside everything else. Because we exist, atheists exist, and people who share my beliefs exist. And MTK on the MIC is functioning in that way when I'm doing those pieces that may make you cringe, as the kids would say. And then the last thing today I wanted to talk about was the Lewis Carroll rumination, where does the day get its name? Which I believe when he was very young, Lewis Carroll, the author, Charles Dodgson, the author of Alice in Wonderland, a clever British mind and a unique thinker, when he was very young, he considered the question, where does the day get its name? And so the way he proposed it was, suppose you woke up and you looked out your window and you said, good morning, and someone outside said, good day, happy Wednesday to you. And then you lifted your house up and you were able to travel with the sun, going as fast as the sun does around the world. And every new country, an hour later away, you would say, good morning, and they'd say, happy Wednesday to you. And then, 15 hours later, you'd be racing along with the sun, and they'd say, good morning, happy Wednesday to you. And 20 hours later. And then, suddenly, you'd have gone with the sun the whole time, and someone would say to you, good morning, happy Thursday to you. And for Lewis Carroll, this was a very confusing thing. He's like, where does the day change its name? And it is a very confusing thing. And in the recent videos I've put up, which are about me crossing the international date line, wherein I left Narita Airport at 5 p.m. in the evening on Thursday and arrived at 10:30 in the morning on that same Thursday in California, is about this very essay. We had to have an international dateline for the first time as a planet because of these colonists and their global empire. One of them thought, what the heck, where does the day doesn't ever change its name, and yet it does. So when does that happen? And the dateline is the answer to that question. And so we created the invisible line that runs down the middle of the Pacific where the least people are, right? So that we could have a distinction in the day for our calendars and our transcontinental travel. It's the beginning of a kind of idea that is become more and more rigid with machines. And that brings me to the final bit here, which is really hilarious. Every time I leave Narita, if I take pictures, like this time I took pictures of the sunset, which is hilarious, then flew to California where the sun was not even up yet. It was barely up. It was 10 a.m. And then took a picture of another sunset. It was 2 Thursday sunsets that I took that day. And I was reflecting on how that's pretty great. And then I looked in my phone, and the AI has them in the wrong order. So if you look at my phone and you go to Thursday of that week and you look for the pictures, the San Francisco pictures are all in the morning time, 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 10:30, 10:45, 11, etc. And I'm walking around, video of me talking and shooting footage. And the Japan photos are all at 5 p.m. and so on. But they didn't happen in that order. So the phone, the AI, is gathering that data, even though I crossed the date line and it knows I did because of GPS and 5G. It cannot process the fact of the matter of where my physical body was. So on my phone, on that Thursday, the photos are all out of order. And it happens every time I take pictures before I leave and cross the date line and take pictures when I come back, traveling from what we call the East here, Japan, to what we call the West, California. And it's a spectacular effect of the Lewis Carroll question, where does the day change its name?